Welcome back to Conscious Ground Sound. I'm your host Jay Ando, and this is another new album review from the group Bad Bad Not Good with their July 8th, 2016 release, 4. Bad Bad Not Good are a Canadian group who came out of the Humber College Jazz program in Toronto, Ontario. They are Matthew Tavares on keyboard, Chester Hansen on bass, Alexander Sawinski on drums, and Leland Whitty on saxophone. This is Bad Bad Not Good's 4th album release, including BBNG in 2011, BBNG 2 in 2012, 3 in 2014, and Sour Soul in 2015 that was a full album done in collaboration with Ghostface Killah. Bad Bad Not Good rose to prominence when they released a YouTube video entitled Odd Future Sessions 1 in 2011 that went viral when rapper Tyler the Creator gave his endorsement of their video by reposting it and then jamming with the group in a video recorded session. The Odd Future Sessions was a composition that Bad Bad Not Good submitted to their professors at Humber College that was given a chilly reception by said profs, which prompted them to record a video of the composition to post on YouTube. Bad Bad Not Good are fans of hip-hop music, sampling, EDM, and experimental instrumental music. This much is obvious. That being said, BBNG's album 4 is a mixture of their more traditional jazz schooling and the more adventurous instrumental songwriting that is synth-based and has a distinct krautrock or EDM feel, comparable to Boards of Canada but with way more musicianship, aka rhythmic and melodic development. BBNG's ability to experiment matched with their willingness to collaborate has forged an album that is brimming with musicality. 4 was recorded in Studio 69 in Toronto and was released on Innovative Leisure Records. The album was produced and written by Bad Bad Not Good and engineered and mixed by keyboardist Matt Tavares, which to his credit is another facet of the talents of Bad Bad Not Good. The start of the album is a strong one with And That Too, which is an interesting synth-laden original composition that shows BBNG's production and compositional prowess. The aesthetic is very reminiscent of a Brian Wilson arrangement with a clever treble-picked punchy bass line played by Chester Hansen and a horned tour de force of flute, bass clarinet, tenor saxophone, and soprano saxophone played by Leland Whitty. And That Too has a Philip Glass sounding minimalistic repeating ostinato, an Ornette Coleman sounding tenor sax solo towards the end, a Brian Wilson sounding vibraphone melody, and the end interlude is reminiscent of a Charles Mingus or a Rosson Roland Kirk composition. The mix makes for a colorful and rich sonic landscape evocative of many influences and an emerging style being forged by BBNG. Speaking Gently, the second track on 4 is another track that is synth heavy with the Poly 6 synth that's skillfully played by Matty Tavares. There are virtuosic drum fills throughout by Alex Sawinski and the smoothest syncopated bass line by Chester Hansen. The track has another sax solo by Leland Whitty, and the weaving melodic lines of the Poly 6 synth in tandem with the bass are pure pleasure. Then the flute lines hover over the top for an additional accent. There's a nice funky bridge that ties the song together, and it's evident by track 2 that Bad Bad Not Good is really capable of writing some strong instrumental music. Time Moves Slowly features successful electropop crooner Samuel T. Herring from Future Islands. This is a soulful ballad that laments love loss and has a sweet chorus where Herring sings, "It's the running away that's easy, it's the leaving that's hard." There's a funky Motown-esque rhythm sound between Hansen and Sawinski that leaves me with vague traces of James Jamerson style on the tip of my tongue, and a psychedelic sounding Krumar organ whining throughout that adds an interesting sonic texture. Overall, the collaboration is a successful one that is comparable to the melancholy and atmospheric soul of Michael Kiwanuka's 2016 release, Love and Hate. Confessions Part 2 features Colin Stetson on bass and tenor saxophone. Colin Stetson is a multi-reedist who is known for his collaborations with Bon Iver, Arcade Fire, and Bell Orchestre. Colin Stetson starts the song with a growling bass saxophone line that is then doubled by Hansen's bass. This is a super funk groove that would make Herbie Hancock proud. The bass sax takes a solo midway through and starts freaking out with layered horn sounds that reach a crescendo and give way to a new bass sax ostinato. This track is more of a jazz style offering and sounds akin to the work of the instrumental band Tuatara led by Barrett Martin with the saxophonist Skerrick. Nothing groundbreaking here, but a solid funky groove that goes the distance. The next track, Lavender, features features producer and solo artist Kaytranada on CS60 synth and percussion, and is for me the most hype track on the whole album. This track leaves me wanting an entire album collaboration between BBNG and Kaytranada. The track starts with a fat synth bass line, a tight beat, and a synth line that just adds the right touch to form an alchemic moment in musical history. There are cool samples that trail off into the background in a perpetual delay, one sounding like a horn, another like a howler monkey, and an organ droning underneath throughout. The bridge or B section breaks off and is carried by Chester Hansen's sweetly laced and intricate bass groove. There's a synth interlude that breaks it down without the bass, and here we have the gem of the album and the most original sounding track in my mind. Chompy's Paradise, the next track, has an almost parody-like sax line in the intro that gives way to a groove that feels as good as any Quincy Jones production from Michael Jackson's Off the Wall. There is a funny video for this track that has Leland Whitty trying to rescue his saxophone from a time bomb that's placed on top of it, and the video shows flashbacks of the saxophone teaching Whitty what wire to cut to defuse a bomb, but in the end he gets blown up along with the sax. Title track 4 is a Joe Henderson sounding straight ahead jazz standard that takes off in the beginning with an interesting jazz head or melody that gives way to solo sections in true jazz form with Leland Whitty leading the way. It's evident from this track that Whitty is opening up new melodic possibilities for the group. There's a soft interlude that comes straight out of the solo and leads into Matty Tavares' first true solo on the album on Fender Rhodes piano. The band is distinctly sounding like Weather Report at this point, and this is some throwback to the 70s type action that is showing the instrumental chops of the band and their influences. I'm left to marvel that this jazz quartet has busted into the mainstream and found an audience. A Canadian jazz quartet, no less. The track 4 also has an Eric Dolphy sounding improvisation on tenor sax that lets me know that Leland Whitty has done his homework. Hyssop of Love features rapper Mick Jenkins on vocals. This is the first hip-hop track on the album, and it hits the spot with a battle rap that's more of an internal struggle, combined with a smooth bridge where Jenkins croons, "I heard your plug was dry, and I think I got what you need. I might be your guy. No, this ain't no weed, just different type of high." Hyssop is an herb not unlike oregano that is used in spiritual purification and is an interesting choice of titles, as Jenkins presents a song about the high of love in regards to true artistic expression versus money chasing, the hypocrisy of those in power who assassinate the peacemakers, and the knowledge that the system is set up for us to fail. And Jenkins smoothly and deftly flips a page and rises above these hypocrisies with this poetic rap. BBNG gives a funky jazz accompaniment to the song that makes it unlike anything that has come out in the hip-hop world. This is a true collaboration of musical worlds meeting and blending with the greatest of ease. Structure number 3 busts in with a fat beat, bass, and a chiming Rhodes. BadBadNotGood is sowing their oats at this point and showing their skills with sweet jazz brushwork by Sowinski and a nice sounding upright bass solo by Chester Hansen, and a bass line that is as smooth as a Jim Prescott line from G-Love and Special Sauce. The song has a sweet CS60 synth line interlude that leads into Hansen's well-composed upright bass solo that morphs into a prog jazz section. In Your Eyes features Charlotte Day Wilson. This is a beautiful sounding soul track that has all systems working in funky harmony with band and vocalist. The lyrics seem to allude to Charlotte Day Wilson luring a woman out of her heterosexual relationship to come swing in the other direction with her. Kashmir is the closer on the album that has a McCoy Tyner type piano solo over some smooth horn lines. And we have another 70s style composition that feels like Shuggy Otis and Bill Evans had a love child. My overall impression, this is a solid album that really has a well produced and recorded sound. This sound, of course, is compliments of BBNG themselves and some stellar collaborations that give the album some variety and interest. BadBadNotGood seem to be developing a sound of their own that comes through on tracks like Lavender, Speaking Gently, and the track And That Too. I give BadBadNotGood's album 4 an 8.5 out of 10 for its diverse compositions, budding originality, and skillful musicianship that gives nods to some of the most prominent practitioners in the fields of jazz, funk, soul, EDM, krautrock, and hip-hop. How are you feeling about this album? Let me know what you thought about BadBadNotGood's 4 and what rating you would give, and let me know of any recommendations of new music and albums that you feel are some of the best of 2016. This has been another new album review from Conscious Ground Sound. Subscribe to be informed of new reviews and releases for 2016 and upcoming classic album reviews. Check out the Conscious Ground Sound Facebook for other updates and musical articles, videos, and points of musical interest. Also, check the description box of this video for links to the album, videos of interest, and other info contained in the review.